Early nominating contests build momentum for 2024 contenders seeking the White House. C-SPAN is the place for political campaign enthusiasts, with unfiltered coverage surrounding the early primaries and caucuses, as well as speeches from key battleground states. Whether you're interested in your state's race or want to follow all of the political events, you can get immediate access to what the candidates are saying, plus nominating results in real time with the free mobile app, C-SPAN Now, or watch live on the C-SPAN networks.
Hey everybody, it's Rob Benedict.
And I go by the name Richard Spade Jr.
And we're talking about Season 3, Episode 12, Just in Bello.
Just in Bello, which means just barely in Bello.
Not quite Bello, just before Bello. Yeah. Hey, you know what?
What?
What was exciting about this is that you and I have been going to a convention in Italy now for about 12 years, and that convention is called Just in Bello, and I never knew why, and now I do.
I still don't know why this episode is called Just in Bello, but
that's true. I don't either, but I hope we're going to get into it in our fun facts.
Yeah.
But before that, we got lots to talk about, and before we talk about that, we'd like to say, look, we still hear about people who are discovering the podcast and are so excited to hear that we are doing this. So please tell a friend, put it on social or near a sandwich board to help get the word out.
What if you just wore a sandwich? Do you have to wear the whole board?
Sure, you can wear a sandwich. I don't know if it's going to do anything for our podcast.
No, but it might get people talking. You know what I mean? Hey,
that's true.
Who's that kid wearing a hoagie? You know what I mean?
That's true. Well, look, we just excited. People are talking about the podcast, and we're excited. Keeping Supernatural alive. So thanks for being here, and really do invite your friends because we love.
If
the more the merrier.
If you decide to wear a sandwich to promote the show, you're going to walk around in a sandwich. I strongly suggest you create your own playlist with 2 musical acts. Just 2 musical acts. It's all you need. Put on the meatloaf and then bread. And then you can walk around in your sandwich.
Okay, great. So that's fantastic. So now I honestly see it on a t-shirt already. It's on a t-shirt. Are you ready for Just Some Bello?
Are you ready to just some freaking bellow? Why?
Searching for the cult, Sam and Dean track Bella to Monument, Colorado.
Why don't they go to a horse farm? That's where you find colts.
It took me a second. So we're going to get a lot of that because it's my COVID fog. It just takes me a second.
COVID Fog is also a great band you could play while you're wearing your sandwich.
Terrific
promoting
band.
The show.
They break into her hotel room, but do not find the cult. They discover that it's a trap.
It's a trap. The hotel room's a trap.
Law enforcement busts down the door, followed by Agent Henriksen, who's been trying to arrest the brothers since Season 2's Night Shifter. Bella tipped Agent Henriksen to Sam and Dean's location. So the brothers are arrested and placed in the local sheriff's holding cell. While they are being held, a possessed FBI agent shoots at Dean, but only hits him in the shoulder before Sam is able to exorcise the demon.
I believe that was Dom DeLuise's son, Peter DeLuise.
That is correct. It was Peter DeLuise, the oldest of 3 DeLuise brothers. Michael and David are the other brothers. How's that for some fun facts right in the middle?
Yeah, nice.
An FBI helicopter arrives to take Sam and Dean to a federal prison, but the helicopter explodes. And many of the officers outside are found dead with their throats slashed.
Quit slashing my throat.
The local sheriff wants to go out and fight, but Henriksen realizes they are under siege. The power goes out.
You know, it's funny. I was just reading along with you and I misread that sentence. I read it as the local sheriff wants to go out and fight, but Henriksen realizes they are underage. You guys are 21. We're not going anywhere.
Well, at least he's still got his morals. There are just a few people trapped inside with Sam and Dean. Henriksen arrives at the boys' holding cell and surprisingly shoots the sheriff in the head. The brothers quickly exorcise the demon that has possessed Henriksen. He apologizes to the brothers after realizing that all of their talk about demons is true. Sam and Dean quickly take control of the situation, securing the station with salts and sigils. They give protection amulets to people and reveal their anti-possession tattoos.
Yeah,
Is this the first time? Is this the first time we've seen their tattoo?
I think it's the first time they've seen their... Yes, I think the answer is yes.
Ruby shows up and tells the boys this is all because of Lilith, the demon who wants to be queen and lead all demons. Ruby suggests that they use a powerful spell that will vaporize all the demons in the area. What's funny?
No one can say Lilith without sounding like they have a lisp.
Right.
It's impossible. You're like, oh no, Lilith is here.
Lilith, the queen of the demons.
What if he said, so you have to stop?
So Ruby suggests they use a powerful spell that will vaporize all the demons in the area. Dean refuses because it would require sacrificing a virgin. He convinces Sam they have to fight. The demons attack. There's a huge brawl in the station, and all the demons get trapped inside. A pre-recorded exorcism is played over the loudspeaker, sending the demons back to hell. Henriksen tells Sam and Dean that he'll report that they died in the helicopter crash. The brothers leave. Soon afterwards, a little girl shows up looking for the brothers. Guess what? It's Lilith with the white-eyed demon.
Wait, Lilith? Lilith came back and fell over Sam and Dean? Oh, no.
That's the worst.
That sucks.
Yes, it's Lilith, the white-eyed demon. She destroys the building and kills everyone in it. Later, Sam and Dean see on the news what has happened. Ruby shows up and scolds the brothers and says these deaths are on them.
Man, how badly would you want... Oh, never mind. That's Ruby. You want Bella to scold you. You don't care if Ruby scolds you.
Man.
You want a little scolding from...
Yeah, I want her to steal my cult. And I'm sorry, everybody. That was the cold medicine talking.
That's great. That's great. I love it. I like... For all the guys out there who refer to themselves as a stallion, Rob is not your competition. He refers to himself as a cult.
That's right.
It's a knobby-kneed foal.
And boy, Ruby really, she's angry a lot.
Yeah. I mean, she's got it tough. I mean, she's a demon.
She's a demon,
know what I mean?
Yeah. You're right.
That's not a toe-tapping profession that leads to a lot of upbeat happiness. The workplace stress alone,
I should walk a mile in her shoes, in her hooves.
In her cloven hooves. All right, well, now it's time for RRR, Rob and Rich Review. Robert, how doth thou review this episode?
I really like this episode. I think it was chock full of super guest stars. I'm going to start there, including our favorite Amy Garcia, good friend of ours from Lucifer, who played the wide-eyed virgin who worked in the office. We also have Henriksen, your buddy.
Charles Malik Whitfield.
Yeah. And then there's the guy that played sort of one of the cops that I feel like I've seen that guy around for years.
Yep. Character actor, works all the time.
Yeah. And then, of course, we've got the DeLuise, Peter DeLuise, from the original 21 Jump Street, who shows up for a little cameo. I wonder if he was just up there working in Vancouver and knew somebody and they threw him in there.
No, I think they backed a dump truck of money up to his house and said, "Can we get a little DeLuise action on this episode?" And he said,
"Sure.
Let me count the bills." And when he was done counting, he said, "Sure, I'm in."
Sure. And I like episodes that take place in one location, like when they were trapped in the bank.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Like it was that kind of episode for me. Trapped in the police station.
Yeah.
And, how do we defeat these demons?
And it's good acting too, man. Like I think, Charles Malik Whitfield is great. So fun as that character,
And him finally realizing, the boys aren't the shitbags that I thought they were.
And DeLuise was great.
Yeah.
Amy Garcia is always great.
And Dean gets shot through the shoulder and it barely phases him.
Yeah, gets shot through the shoulder. Like you've got a little case of the sniffles and you're canceling everything right and left willy-nilly. You get shot in the shoulder, it doesn't miss a beat.
Anyway, so I was like, so this is that. Of course, they named a whole convention after it. It's a great episode.
Yeah, of course. Agreed.
What about you?
I enjoyed it at the same reason. It was almost like same thing I liked about the bank one. Like you said, it's got this sort of pressure cooker sort of vibe because it's all happening in this one tight space. And it has like a happening in real time kind of energy when you do these kind of episodes. And I think that's really fun. It feels like it's happening in real time. Oh no, this is happening. We've got to do this. We've got to do that. We've got to do it before things go pear-shaped, even though things are already going pear-shaped. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah. And they, and then there's a huge fight at the end. And, the thing about this show too, is like the stakes are so incredibly high. Like
stakes. Any
other show, I feel like, you go, well, we'd have to sacrifice a virgin. And Amy Garcia's like, well, I'm a virgin. And then they'd be like, well, we're not going to do that. But like in this, they almost did. You know what I mean? She was like,
yeah, well, Sammy sort of showed his true colors there. His little proclivity for, if you're not banging, you're dying. That's his sort of motto, that showed up. I thought that was like, not great, showing by Sam.
Yeah, that's going on a t-shirt for sure.
It better
you're not
be.
Banging, you're dying.
It's like get busy living or get busy dying.
Yeah,
get busy banging or get busy dying.
I also liked when Amy and the like younger cop dude were on the roof during the fight, and she's like, "I'm definitely having sex when this is over," and then she's like, "But not with you."
Oh boy, I'm sure, Rob. I hope you didn't strain your eyebrow muscles thinking, "Hello." I know how you get.
It's a funny bit. It was a funny bit. Yeah, but then at the end, Lilith comes in and kills them all.
Lilith comes in as a little girl.
And kills them.
Hello, I'm Lilith.
Hey, and she was great. Whoever's playing Lilith at this point. Lilith. Great. Actress.
Actress. Licking a lollipop. Yeah.
So I'm trying to think how we can do this review and mix it up from what we normally do when we kind of like an episode.
Well, I know what I'm saying. I mean,
all right. Well, let's hear it.
I'm giving it to Kenny Rogers. It's not a full Stapleton, but it's a rock solid, really enjoyable, really pleasant, strong episode. It's getting a Kenny Rogers.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give it, if you go Kenny Rogers, that's really confusing with Kenny Loggins. A lot of people get Kenny Loggins mixed up with Kenny Rogers. They're both bearded singers.
Nobody's ever gotten those two confused, ever.
I have.
Dude, you don't know your Randy Owens from your Eddie Rabbit. That's your problem.
Oh, man, nobody does. Get $1 to anybody who knows what he's talking about.
Or your Billy Gibbons from your William Golden.
Billy Gibbons, I know. Who's William Golden?
From the Oak Ridge Boys.
There you go. Of course. So I'm going to go ahead and say that that this gets, it gets a Kenny Loggins. I don't know what else to tell you. It gets a Kenny Loggins from the 80s. It's Justin Bello at Lilith, Arrival of Lilith. See the tattoos for the first time. It's a classic.
We'll see. Oh, William Lee Golden. I forgot his middle name.
Oh, thank God that you found that out for us. But yeah, so Kenny Loggins, 80s.
So Danger Zone Loggins and Gambler Kenny Rogers.
Yeah.
A couple of Kennys.
Yeah.
All right, you get a couple of Kennys. It's like, hey, I got a couple of Kennys in my pocket. You want to go down to the pub? You know what I mean? Like it feels like currency.
Fantastic. All right, well, let's get into an interview now. We have once again with us director, executive producer,
America's sweetheart,
Phil Sgriccia, returns to the podcast. You know, both Richard Speight Jr. and Phil Sgriccia both worked on the 1980s series Freddy's Nightmares, but not on the same episodes.
And Phil edited the TV movie A Mother's Revenge, a TV movie based on the novel by Richard Speight Sr.
And Phil edited Sam Circus, right?
Right, which was directed by Bob Singer and starred Richard Speight Jr.
And was a pilot that never saw the light of day. Well,
never saw the light of day. But for that pilot, though, I wouldn't be involved in Supernatural. Right now, Rob would be hosting this podcast by himself.
Well, thank God that didn't happen. Everyone's thankful for that, except maybe me. But now
we have no time for the interview. The intro was too long.
You know what? We'll see the light of day. This interview with Phil Sgriccia.
Let's dive into this, Robert.
Phil Sgriccia, thank you for being back with us.
Thanks, guys, for having me.
So, Phil, you have a double header here of Phil Sgriccia classics.
Oh, there we go.
And starting with Justin Bello. Now, first of all, Rich, this is the first time Rich and I, we go to a convention every year in Rome called Justin Bello, but this is the first time we've heard, we even knew it was an episode. So what is it called? What does that mean? I mean,
I believe it's The Rules of War. Sarah Gamble wrote this, did an excellent job. Her scripts are always fun. And
always.
Yeah, it was supposed to be kind of a bottle show because it all takes place inside the
precinct. Yeah.
But it was, whenever they say it's a bottle show, it always turns up being a magnum of a bottle.
Yeah.
They're never like, cheap.
Well, I think, Rob and I were struck by some similarities between this and Night Shifter in so much as it has that ticking clock, almost feels like it's in real time kind of vibe. Was it structured like that on the page, or is that something you bring to it going, okay, I've got one room, I better turn the heat up in this space?
No, I think it was on the page that way. I mean, it was one of those where, you have to set it up that they get arrested, and then you set up that Hendrickson is there, and we've already established him as a guy chasing them. So it was easy to kind of get the players in place, little country, sheriff's department type of thing out in the middle of, Colorado, or I think it was. But, it was on the page. Sarah, like I said, she's a top writer, and it was all there. Again, it was kind of one of those, like, let's see if we can, pull in some of our overall budget, I think. This was also looming right in front of us was the writer's strike.
Right.
Yeah.
a writer's strike. So this was the last episode we shot before the writer's strike.
Yeah, it was interesting. You talk about the through line of small town, big city FBI guys meet up with small town police station. Agent Hendrickson really an a-hole to the to the small town cops.
yeah, it's kind of his thing. He doesn't have time anymore. He's kind of, his boss is on his case for not bringing these guys in sooner.
Now, what do you know? What led you to get Peter DeLuise?
Peter lives there,
right?
He lives, and I think we had always had him on our radar. But it was kind of one of those things that it all kind of worked together. It's like his schedule was open, and he was doing Stargate, maybe. I think he was on Stargate.
I was going to say he probably moved there after 21 Jump Street, right?
Right, and he'd been directing. He's directing a lot, so I think he's not up there waiting for an acting gig. I think he was super cool and super fun to work with, even though he didn't have that much.
Yeah,
I think he jumped at it because we'd been there for a while. I mean, this was year 3, so he knew that there was, the show seemed to have some legs to it. So.
Yeah, that was cool. It's always great to see him.
That was cool. That was a cool get. And Charles Malik Whitfield does a great job in that role as Hendrickson. And I think this one is the most 3-dimensional version of that character he got to play. Because before it's like man with mission, chip on shoulder, go, go, go. And then now you get to see his humanity, his sort of cocky, internal and external celebration about this, capture, but then the slow chipping away of his confidence and his confusion kind of taking over is great. He just does such a nice job with that.
Yeah, I think, he comes in with all the tools, and he's, again, super cool to work with. And, it was a fun, there's that quiet moment where he and Dean have the, man-to-man kind of, where are you from, 3 divorces, that sort of stuff. You get his backstory, so you see the human behind the badge, and so I think all of that, it does, it makes you care about the characters a bit more, because then what follows is,
nice. Look,
right.
I saw it coming. We all saw it coming. No one was surprised, and yet it's so well done. I shot the sheriff. Yeah, but you didn't shoot the deputy bit. It's great. Yes. And I got to know, because you're a man with razor sharp comedy timing, and so does Jensen also has that. And you guys timed it. Yeah. There's a couple of beats. It's not like saying it.
Yeah.
You have to have somebody react to Dean's line. And I remember shooting that scene, laughing. We were all laughing because at first we thought it was really funny. Then we thought it was dumb, I think. And then because it's not funny anymore, right?
Right.
But I think the quick cut to Sam turning his head to him.
It's so great. It's such a great, his reaction. Right, but also, not just to circle back, it's the fact that Jensen has that moment of, do I say this or do I not? Like,
do I say it?
That's the thing that almost sold the joke better for me was he didn't go blah, 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 like a sitcom. You see him like hear it, process it, go, and then say it.
Those are so much fun to do because his timing is spot on, right? Like you say. And
the brothers' chemistry at this point in the show is really rolling. I mean, they really have it down now. Just the the interaction, just a look from Sam, and it really completes it.
Yeah, I mean and Dean's like, I know I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah,
but
he didn't have a choice.
I had to say it.
Yeah.
He said what he said. I'm just reacting to what he said.
Yeah, right. Someone's got to say it.
Somebody's thinking it. You're thinking it. He's thinking it.
So there are lots of extras in this that are pretty important. All the
demons, Robert. The demons.
What am I trying to say? The demons that come in. Is that hard to, as a director, you're kind of given those extras, right? Or do you cast them?
A lot of.
I was going to say they're more than just extras because they're doing stuff.
They were almost all of them were stunt people. That's probably where the money went for the episode, because that whole attack in the hallways with the shotguns and the salt and all that. Everybody that flops backwards from a gunhead is a stunt person. Laurel Chartrand, I think was his name, was one of our main stunt guys. He came in and attacked Charles use the, and
Right.
again, we've got the black eyes, we got to paint it and all that, but super fun. We shot it at a skinny gate, so it's like got that stuttery kind of Private Ryan feel to it.
Can you describe what that skinny gate means?
You change the angle of the gate, and it takes away when each frame is exposed. There's a swinging gate. Used to be in the film world,
Right.
and change the angle of it. It lets light in a different way, I guess. I don't know, a different angle.
Yeah.
So what happens is you have this called motion blur in 24 frames where everything's kind of smooth, right? And what the skinnier gate does is it takes away the motion blur. So it's all very crisp, clean movement, but it gets kind of jittery, but it also creates tension. Spielberg it's been used forever, but
Yeah.
Spielberg used it to a fine art for Saving Private Ryan, and I think people we kind of jump on those things. It's like
that's the first time I remember seeing it and noticing, or I didn't know what I was seeing, but I was like, "What is that?" Like in Private Ryan.
What the hell? Yeah, man.
It's more like a 16 millimeter shooting kind of thing.
Right.
A lot of 16 millimeter was shot like at 20 frames or
Let
something.
me ask you this: you're talking about this.
Anyway.
You can almost see the film going by.
Yeah, you're talking about this in film terms, but obviously things now are digital. Is that when people are saying on change the angle of the shutter? Is that the same thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. This show was
at
shot
this
on
point,
film.
right?
This particular episode. Yeah, we didn't change to video until
First of all.
before. So.
I just love that it feels like we were on Betamax was our next step. Like you shoot it on video, you were digital.
No, the next show, the Ghostfaces was also
that for sure. But this is so you're talking so you're calling it a skinny gate. Got to find this stuff fascinating. It's a skinny gate on film, but it's shutter angle on digital.
Yeah, it's the same thing. You can call it
but there's no gate on digital, right? So you can't use the gate terminology.
No, there's no spinning. Because what happens is in the film world, this gate comes down, the film moves to the next frame, and then it opens up and exposes the film. Because then you get each frame when it's like if this is the frame, the shutter comes down, the frame moves to the next frame, and then it opens up. And it's doing this 24 times in a second.
That's fast.
So
at what point, Rich, do you use that on your next set? All right, guys, we're going to go skinny gate on this one.
Well, we actually are using it on the current show for fight stuff.
And do you call it skinny gate or do you call it
shutter angle?
Shutter.
Because again, we're using digital. There's no gate.
Right.
Well, there is a gate. It's just not moving. Digital gate.
And back in the day, to our listeners, we all used to say, check the gate. That was the last thing you did if you really feel like you got the shot. But you want to make
the AD does that same thing on Dead Boy Detectives. He'll say, all right, we're checking. I'm like, we're not checking. We're not. Why do you say that? He's like, oh, I just like it. I'm like, you're confusing everybody under 40. Like you're not checking anything. There's nothing to check.
Congrats on that, by the way. Say hi to Mr. Yaki.
I will.
And, Ruthie.
I will indeed.
Isn't she on?
Well, I was up there. I'm going back up there. We had a couple of guys get a virus that slowed us down, shut us down for a little bit, and then a foot injury. So we've had a couple of slowdowns. So I'm back home, but I'm going back up on Sunday.
All right. Well done.
Tell Ruth hello.
I will. I will indeed. I will. She won't listen, but I will.
So it was a big stunt episode. The big fight at the end. Did anyone get hurt with all those guns and fights and swinging through door frames?
No, I don't think so. I'm trying to think. No, unless somebody told you. I can't remember.
No. I just have I have a line here that was written for me that's saying, "Did anyone get hurt?"
Oh,
yeah. How did the lawsuit shake out? Sorry, I'm just reading from the questions. So, hey, was your daughter on one of the wanted posters? Is it like that? Again, I
don't know if I can say that.
Well, I guess
Maybe.
that's a yes.
Why wouldn't you?
Is your daughter wanted by the authorities? That's my follow-up question.
Well, convicted? No. No. Yeah, she's in there. And there's another episode where my son Sam.
Remind me your daughter's name so we can.
Molly,
right.
Molly.
So there's a Molly Sgriccia Molly Sgriccia poster. I love it.
No, it's not Sgriccia. No, that's not.
I know. I'm just saying that's
not there.
It says Phil's daughter. Wanted. Phil's daughter.
Yeah.
And it then has Phil's phone number.
Pointed here. Yes, it has myself.
That's awesome. I always like that Supernatural does that you guys work in, personal Easter eggs, so to speak,
Yeah, that's part of the fun. I mean, there's I know myself and Jerry Wanick are always researching the towns we go to, and we'll find some weird little thing like it's got the biggest pancake in the world, and Jerry will do some artwork that coincides with that.
Oh, wow.
That sort of thing. So we do our homework. I do anyway. I love doing the little, eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Spate, you do that too. You get but all of it. I mean, I felt like I was always walking into the, Sgriccia diner or, Spate had the, Fletch, Frank.
Steve Fletch and Frank's hoagies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, for sure.
Just hold that thought. We're coming right back.
Hey, this is Richard Spate. You know what? It's 2024. It's a brand new year, and I bet you made some New Year's resolutions, and I bet one of them was to eat healthier. Well, you can get cranking on that resolution right now, my friend, with Factor. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, the prep work, the cooking fatigue. I'm getting tired just talking about it. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie smart, vegan and veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you will have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart this resolution off right. Forget frantic lunch prep and rush dinner making. That stinks. Factor's 2-minute meals, yes, I said 2 minutes, are your secret weapon in the new year. You get to fuel up fast with restaurant-quality meals all delivered right to your door. It doesn't get any easier than that. And Factor now offers loads of snack options like breakfast, smoothies, juices, snacks, and more to keep you going no matter what's on the schedule. So I know what you're asking, Rich, how do I tap into this Factor magic? You head to factormeals.com/SPNTAN50 and use code SPNTAN50 to get 50% off. That's a lot off. That's code SPNTAN50 at factormeals.com/SPNTAN50 for 50% off. Make that resolution happen now and make it happen at a discount. Fantastic food that's healthy and delicious and delivered right to my door. Now that is how you start the new year off right.
Early nominating contests build momentum for 2024 contenders seeking the White House. C-SPAN is the place for political campaign enthusiasts, with unfiltered coverage surrounding the early primaries and caucuses, as well as speeches from key battleground states. Whether you're interested in your state's race or want to follow all of the political events, you can get immediate access to what the candidates are saying, plus nominating results in real time with the free mobile app, C-SPAN Now, or watch live on the C-SPAN networks.
Hey, we're back.
Was this episode influenced at all, or your shooting of it influenced at all by the film Assault of Precinct 13?
I can't say that I didn't look at it. I think I looked at a couple of the siege kind of, movies just to see what, because it's all in one place and it's kind of, you're in a coffin, right? You're
right.
So it's like how did they light it? How did they shoot it? Not so much for story or acting. It was more technical stuff of like, how do they do this? And, our rules are different. We've got to have rock salt, Luckily, we're in a place in the country that could use salt in the winter for the water.
That's great. Yeah.
Right.
So that made sense. There's stuff like that you kind of go, we need, if they were in New Mexico, it probably wouldn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Right.
I like the detail that you had to scrape off the paint with a knife to get them through the circle or whatever.
Yeah. It's a devil's trap.
Yeah. But it's not that easy just to wipe that paint off. You got to be like,
you got to scrape it.
Yeah.
And then same with the salt at the window ledge,
right.
If the guy, moves and all of a sudden it's opened. And as soon as you open the ring, it doesn't have its power anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you recall what it was like working with Amy Garcia? We are friendly with her from her stint on Lucifer.
I wish we had more with her. She was wonderful.
Yeah.
She didn't have a ton other than we gave her the religious kind of side of things.
Right.
I think we could have given her a lot more. It's just that the role didn't ask for that. But I'm glad.
Yeah, she's very talented.
She jumped on. She's super talented.
Yeah.
She would always say on the Lucifer set, she's like, I was on Supernatural. I was the virgin. I was the virgin.
Yeah, she's proud of that.
Early on.
Yeah, she's so cool. She's so sweet.
What was your biggest challenge in shooting this kind of show? Because I know people will look like at a bottle episode, so to speak. Bottle meaning here we are in a single location, not running around to the woods or anything.
One set.
To do the episode. But it really is very challenging. I think almost more challenging because to keep it unique and interesting and moving in a 4-wall set, or in this case, maybe an 8-wall set, you have the jail area and the lobby area.
Right.
How did you tackle that? How do you piece that apart and keep it moving?
Part of it is art direction with Jerry. He built a fabulous set that gave us all sorts of side rooms and the jail cells and hallways and like the back room where we had the recorder and the speakers, around the place. And then there was a little quiet room with Hendrickson and Dean have their chat. I think that's what makes the show, how it can work better, is if you're given enough of these nooks and crannies within the place. One thing that was kind of interesting, part of the story that I researched, to let them in and then lock them in, right? And then have the
exorcism over the PA system.
Speakers was to get them out. And I think there's more than one of these stories, but in northern Michigan back in the 1800s, there was a union thing that was going on with the miners. And they had this Christmas party. A lot of these were European descendants, Swedish, Norwegian. And there was a union thing. It was the owners were trying to break it. Anyway, what happened was somebody yelled fire, and this was in a hall that was upstairs in the building, and the way into it was through a stairwell. And somebody bolted and shut the doors so they couldn't get out. And,
oh God!
And like a dozen people and kids died being crushed at the doors.
Oh my God!
So those are sort of some things that we research. Like, how do you lock the doors and then have all these people smash up into it? And so there's a little bit of research that way, especially with Jerry and his art department. And I think it was called Heaven's Door or something like that. I forget. Anyway, it happened in northern Michigan.
Wow.
So, we did that with the demons. If you watch, there's a couple of shots where they're all banging up against the door and kind of smashing.
Yeah.
They can't escape and they're going nuts.
Yeah.
But you just try and, I think the big thing is if the performances are there, it doesn't matter where you're at. Have you seen there's a movie with Mark Rylance called The Outfit?
I have not.
No.
You should watch it. It's all in one set. And it's amazing. It's 1950s Chicago gangs, mafia kind of Al Capone kind of era.
Oh, wow.
Right.
What's it called? The Outfit?
Yeah. It's a double, he's a tailor. He's a tailor for the mob.
Okay.
You have a drop box in the back room, and every time they come in to get the money out of the drop box, he leaves, and it's this kind of twisty drama.
Wow, cool.
Rylance is freakishly good.
He's so good.
Anyway, so when you have this problem of you can't go anywhere, you just try and make sure that the performances are given, because that'll drive it.
Yeah.
And everybody was great. I mean, everybody in this episode was great. It really was well done. Well, Phil, this is another great episode, man. And this is obviously the kind of episode that in lesser hands wouldn't be nearly as good. Obviously, you cast great actors and you had great actors delivered to your door in the form of Jared Jensen and Charles Malik Whitfield, who were already cast. But man, DeLuise, the rest of the supporting cast were great. And you just take a tight episode and keep it moving and interesting. It's a real skill, man.
Gotta say, the one part that I really loved was the ending with Lilith.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Because, it's a sweet young 12-year-old girl, and who's her name? Rachel? I think Rachel.
She's great too.
And she was it was a small bit, but man, was it fun.
Yeah,
it was great. And dude,
spooky.
It also makes you realize, Catherine Beckner wasn't the first Lilith.
Yes, same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we We had a few, and I'm trying to think if Rachel came. I think Rachel came back. We had a different one also. We had like 3 or 4. 3.
Well, I know you end up with Catherine Beckner, and you end up with Anna Grace Barlow in later seasons,
right,
and then this young lady, and then I know there's another one in there too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
awesome.
it was great. It's so spooky. And so, the shot of behind of her holding her mom's hand as they walk in. Yeah. I also thought it was funny that she described them as a tall one and a good looking one. Well,
That's very funny. That's how people describe Rob and me.
Only not tall?
Only not tall or not good looking. But they do say 2 guys all the time.
2 humans.
2 beards.
Phil, thank you for being a part of this.
That's it. You guys are easy.
Well, this is for chapter 1. You're back for chapter 2, so don't get too excited.
We're going to have you back next week for Ghost Facers.
But I want you to know that your beard has become legend in our podcast for being part of our rating system. Like it's such a classy designer goatee, a curated goatee that for a very special reviews, sometimes the episode will get a Phil Sgriccia.
I'm just covering the 666 on my chin.
I knew it.
Yeah, we rate each episode in beards, so the Sgriccia is a real special.
Really? Are you really? Not beard?
Yeah.
Oh,
we do it by beards, not stars, beards.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen,
the one and only.
You get more of him coming up, but this was our time with Phil Sgriccia.
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you.
Hey, this is Jeffrey Dean Morgan. We are going to take a quick break. Hey, it's Jeffrey D. Morgan again. Welcome back to the podcast.
All right, it's time for mythology.
I'm glad we're using the word mythology, which also sounds like a lisp word, because we're going right into some mythology that involves Lilith. Take it, Robbie.
Lilith, this is Lilith's first appearance.
Lilith's first appearance, suffering succotash.
Yeah, it's the first time we see Lilith. The character's based on a real-life Judeo-Christian lore.
Nice.
Why don't you tell them about the lore?
Well, she was the first female demonic figure. It was written that initially she was the first wife of Adam and made from the same soil as him, rather than a rib like Eve. But she refused to be loyal to him. Didn't want to be on the bottom for the dirty deed, if you know what I mean. And she was insolent. She left the Garden of Eden. Let me tell you something. She sounds like a walk in the park compared to the machete. You ain't taking no guff from nobody.
Time out. This is biblical that she refused. She didn't want to be on the bottom for sex.
That's part of the lore?
Wow.
That's weird. I just assumed that was a joke.
Yeah, no, that's funny. That's funny. It's kind of
how did you know it was real, Rob?
Because the Bible is nasty like that. It's nasty like that. It gets nasty. It's down and dirty.
Yeah, you want to know one of my favorite Bible jokes growing up in the Bible Belt. What's the stretchiest stuff in the world?
I don't know.
Human skin. I know this from the Bible. It says Abraham tied his ass to a tree and then walked 20 miles.
Oh, man. All right. Well, so here's some more about Lilith. Some stories say her offspring are incubi or succubi, sired by an archangel named Samael, or earthbound demons she birthed after stealing Adam's seed while he slept.
Oh, girl stealing the seed while she slept bit. Do you know what incubi and succubi are? Because I don't. I'm just going to tell you right now.
Nope, not at all. I know Incubus, band from the 90s.
I'm going to look at, incubi would be plural of that, but let's look it up. Incubi.
Oh, Incubi is just 2 bands, both named Incubus.
Incubus. All right, what is an incubus? All right, an incubus is a demon in male form in folklore that seeks to have adult relations, if you know what I'm saying, with sleeping women. The corresponding spirit in female form is called a succubus.
Holy moly.
That seems a tad on the nose.
Okay,
in medieval Europe, union with an incubus was supposed by some to result in the birth of witches, demons, and deformed human offspring. Legendary magician Merlin was said to have been fathered by an incubus. Parallels exist in many cultures. Walter Stephen alleges in Demon Lovers, some traditions hold that repeated dirty activity with an incubus or succubus may result in the deterioration of health, an impaired mental state, or even death.
Holy cow. That is just too much for my brain to take in right now. So these incubi and succubi were fathered, that is, by an archangel named Samael.
Right. I like the fact that she has some earthbound demon children that she gave birth to after stealing Adam's seed while he slept. Do you think Adam would read this and go, "Well, how about wake a brother up if we're gonna go through the paces of de-seeding me? I'd love to have a front row seat to that party." You know?
Yeah, I mean, Adam's really a heavy sleeper.
No
You
kidding.
know what I mean? Ancient texts have her being responsible for stillborn children or crib death. Other stories tell how she would seduce men in order to use their seed to create bodies for demonic children.
I'm just laughing at Adam's a heavy sleeper. He sure is. Not this guy. No, ma'am.
I can't give my seed away.
You start playing Slobbering Blues on the meat horn. Believe you me, I'll be awake.
Oh, dear. In the 1960s and 70s, the feminist movement found inspiration for Lilith and reshaped the story to one about an independent and uncontrollable woman. She became a symbol of female autonomy and gave birth to a music festival called Lilith Fair.
Ah, she gave birth to an entire festival.
I know, but in the 90s there was a.
I remember that. Sure.
Yeah, a female-led music festival called
with Liz Fair and Tori Amos.
Sure, yeah. Are you having fun? Good, because it's time for fun facts. All right, here we go. Finally, the title means justice in war, which means fight well once the battle has begun.
Huh.
Jus in bello.
All right. There you go.
Huh. I thought it had something to do with juice.
I thought it was, I had no idea. But you know what? This episode is the first appearance of the anti-possession tattoo.
Yeah.
In 2008, Sarah Gamble said in an interview that she'll know if the show is a cult hit if fans start getting the same tattoo. Well, Sarah, we're here to let you know that it's
a cult
hit. Because a lot of people have that tattoo.
Lots and lots. You know who doesn't have that tattoo?
Rob Benedict.
Jensen and Jared.
Oh, but you do?
Of course. Dean's wanted poster lists Donald Stump as one of his aliases.
I wonder if that's a take on Donald Duck, only with a different last name.
Probably.
Michael O'Shea and the sound team were nominated for an Emmy for this episode, which is flippin' awesome. However, they lost to themselves for an episode of Smallville.
Well, would you look at that? Well, that's exciting. Honestly, I was really excited to see this episode, and I was not disappointed. Really excited. It's a thrill to watch the shows that are, the episodes that are always named and sort of the top episodes of this long run that this show had. And so, I
totally agree. Good show, good episode, well done, well performed. Well,
I'm a little disappointed that Justin Bello just means good job.
No, it means justice in war. It doesn't mean good job.
Go get him.
When you simplify like that, but it means something way more poetic.
It means you got this.
Yeah, you got this in Italian.
It's not. Is it Italian?
I don't know.
I think it's Latin.
Well, but ancient Roman, the same area.
Sure. Yes, same area. But I don't think we'd say Italian. But yeah.
No.
Anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a show. What an episode. What a great time to read the TV credits. Robbie?
This episode of Supernatural features Jared Padalecki as Sam Winchester and Jensen Ackles as Dean Winchester.
Guest stars included Katie Cassidy, Lauren Cohen, Charles Malik Whitfield, one of the coolest names in show business, Stoney Westmoreland,
yeah,
Amy Garcia, Peter DeLuise, Phil Amici, and Kurt Evans.
Juice and Bella was written by Sarah Gamble and directed by Phil Sgriccia.
Editing by Tom McQuaid, who's a cop on the edge. Music by Christopher Lennertz.
Executive produced by Eric Kripke and Robert Singer.
This episode originally aired on February 21st, 2008. A little trivia, that's 1 week after Valentine's Day.
And we know this because the last episode was on Valentine's Day.
Ooh.
This episode of Supernatural Then and Now was hosted and executive produced by Richard Spade Jr. and Rob Benedict.
Produced by Stephen Hine, written by Stephen Hine and Haida Holscher.
And edited and associate produced by Trey Booty. Music provided by Tim Wynn.
This episode was recorded with the help of Sonic Fuel Studios.
This podcast is from Story Mill Media.
Follow the podcast on Instagram and Twitter, won't you? At SPN Then and Now.
And become a member of the podcast at patreon.com/SPN Then and Now.
Hey, I got to say something. I really like that poster on your door behind you.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's kind of cool.
This is
one of our Sunday shindigs down at
That's right.
The Loudon Swain poster?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
the blue one.
Record release party.
That's right.
Oh, nice. I can't see.
sorry.
I see a mic stand. Oh, there it is. Gotcha.
Yet another Phil produced show that I was a part of. Thanks,
So
Phil.
we'll see you again at 8:30, right?
Steve, I want to know where you got that 18-hour thing.
Yeah, Steve.
Yeah, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, it's all tricky stuff. Once you go and you're in one spot, it's like the toilet, right? You got cameras underneath the toilet. That's a whole different thing.
The following podcast. Wait. Follow the podcast. Hold on.
Wait, let me do mine again.
Okay, the episode. I'll do mine too. Jert Evans. Like Steve Hine leapt to the mic to be sure that we didn't say Jert Evans because the man's name is Kurt Evans. And we're going to say Kurt Evans. But for the record, we want everybody to know that Steve Hine wrote the man's name as Jert.
Story Mill Media.
Early contests build momentum for 2024 contenders seeking the White House. C-SPAN offers unfiltered coverage of events leading into early primaries and caucuses. Get access to speeches and results with the free app, C-SPAN Now, or watch live on the C-SPAN networks.